Continuing on, part C. Enthalpies of formation for substances involved in the reaction are shown in the table below. Using the information in the table, determine the accepted value of delta H for the reaction between MgO and HCl. So remember that delta H for a reaction is delta H for the products minus delta H for the reactants. So I can just add I can add the delta H formations for the products, add the delta H formations for the reactants, and then subtract them. So that's what I'm going to do. For Mg, that's my first product, I have minus 467. That would be kilojoules per mole times 1 mole of Mg2 plus from the chemical equation. Plus, same thing for water, minus 286. That would be kilojoules per mole times 1 mole. And then minus, I'm going to come down here for the sake of space, reactants, MgO minus 602 plus 0 for the H plus. And again, that would be kilojoules per mole times mole in the chemical equation. So put that in a calculator. Get delta H0 for the reaction of minus 151 kilojoules. And you can see that that's per mole of MgO. Okay, so we get delta H for the reaction, the accepted value, 151 kilojoules. Finally, finishing up problem 2, the accepted value and the experimental value do not agree. So let's just remind ourselves. The experimental value was minus 135 kilojoules per mole of MgO, and the accepted value was minus 151 kilojoules per mole of MgO. If the calorimeter leaked heat energy to the environment, so if we can't say that no heat is lost, if some of the heat is lost outside of the styrofoam cup, would it help account for the discrepancy between the values and explain? So, yes. The experimentally determined value for delta H is less negative than the accepted value. If heat had leaked out of the calorimeter, then the delta T of the contents would be less than expected, because of course some of it is lost, leading to a smaller calculated value for Q, and therefore a less negative value for delta H. So in this case, this is just some experimental error that would be maybe expected if the calorimeter was not completely sealed from the environment.